The harsh Alaskan wilderness doesn't forgive mistakes. Neither, it seems, does Noah Brown. For years, the quietest of the Brown clan has stood in the shadows, watching as the family's reputation was built on an ironclad code of loyalty, resilience, and self-sufficiency. Principles his father Billy instilled with unwavering conviction. But behind the carefully crafted image of the wolf pack, simmering resentments and bitter feuds have threatened to tear apart the very foundation of what made Alaskan Bush People a phenomenon. In this video, we're revealing the 5 individuals Noah Brown has finally named as those who betrayed the family's trust most severely, and why each one forced a line to be drawn that can never be uncrossed. Stay till the end to see who lands at number 1. Because the final reveal explains everything about why the Brown family may never be the same again. Few television families have captured America's imagination quite like the Browns. Since 2014, viewers have been mesmerized by the seemingly impossible. A family of 9 living deep in the Alaskan bush, miles from civilization, surviving by their wits, strength, and unbreakable family bond. At the center of this wilderness saga was patriarch Billy Brown, whose dream of raising his children away from the corrupting influence of modern society became the show's emotional backbone. His wife Ami and their 7 children, Matt, Bam Bam, Bear, Gabe, Noah, Snowbird, and Rain, appeared to live by a code that placed family above all else. One for all for one, wasn't just a motto. It was survival. But television rarely captures the whole truth. As the show's popularity exploded and the family transitioned from Alaska to Washington state following Ami's cancer diagnosis, cracks began to appear in the carefully maintained facade. Noah Brown, often portrayed as the family inventor and intellectual, maintained a quieter presence compared to his more boisterous siblings, yet behind that thoughtful exterior lurked observations, judgments, and eventually resentments that would build over years of filming. Now, as the Brown family empire faces unprecedented challenges in the wake of Billy's passing in February 2021, Noah has reportedly opened up about the individuals whose actions he believes undermine the family's principles and legacy. The revelations offer a rare glimpse into the complex dynamics that television audiences never fully witnessed, and the true cost of fame on a family that once prided itself on isolation. Number 5. Discovery Channel producers. While not individuals but a collective entity, Noah has reportedly grouped the show's production team at the top of his list of grievances. Initially, the Browns seem to have found ideal partners in Discovery, a network known for its celebration of rugged individualism and survival expertise. Viewers were captivated by the family's apparent rejection of modern conveniences, their self-built Browntown community, and their ability to thrive in conditions that would break most people. Noah, with his mechanical aptitude and innovative contraptions, quickly became a fan favorite, portrayed as the thinker among the action-oriented siblings. But according to sources close to Noah, the relationship between the family and producers soured as the show's popularity grew. In 2015, during the filming of Season 3, tensions reportedly reached a breaking point when Noah felt producers were deliberately manufacturing dramatic scenarios that undermined the family's authentic bush lifestyle. During one particularly contentious episode, Noah's invention, a homemade water filtration system, was allegedly sabotaged to create on-camera drama when it failed. They wanted failure, he reportedly told a family friend. They didn't want solutions. They wanted problems they could stretch across episodes. What began as documentation of the family's unique lifestyle had transformed into something Noah felt was increasingly inauthentic. The standard violated was one of representation and truth, core values the Brown family claimed to uphold. If the Browns' entire identity was built around genuine bush expertise and self-sufficiency, having that expertise undermined for ratings represented a fundamental betrayal of the family's public image. Noah, perhaps more than his siblings, seemed to value the intellectual integrity of what they were portraying. Having producers deliberately undermine that expertise, struck at the heart of his personal pride. And that's when everything changed. By 2016, reports suggest Noah began withdrawing from certain filming scenarios, becoming more selective about which aspects of his life he would share on camera. The distance grew when producers allegedly pushed for more details about his courtship with Rain Alicia, whom he would later marry. They wanted to turn our relationship into a storyline. Noah reportedly complained to family members, "Some things should remain private, even when your life is a TV show." The consequences became apparent in Noah's reduced screen time in later seasons, and his eventual relocation away from the main family property in Washington. While he remained part of the show, insiders claim he maintained a careful distance from producers, often refusing to participate in scenes he felt were overly manufactured. His relationship with the production team had fundamentally changed from collaborative to cautious. For viewers who noticed his decreased presence, this behind-the-scenes conflict helps explain what happened. Did Noah sacrifice career advancement for personal integrity? Or did his resistance to production guidance ultimately limit his family's potential success? Number 4. Matt Brown. As the eldest Brown son, Matt initially embodied the family's wilderness ethos. His expertise with hunting, fishing, and survival techniques made him a natural leader among the siblings and a fan favorite in early seasons. Noah, being younger, reportedly looked up to Matt as an example of the bush skills their father valued. In early interviews, Noah often credited Matt with teaching him practical skills that complemented his more theoretical approach to problem-solving. The brothers, despite their different temperaments, shared a bond forged in the isolation of the Alaskan wilderness. That relationship began to fracture in 2016 when Matt's struggles with alcohol became impossible to ignore. During a break in filming, Matt reportedly entered rehabilitation for alcohol addiction, temporarily leaving the show. When production resumed, the family addressed his absence in carefully measured terms, but behind the scenes, Noah allegedly struggled with what he viewed as Matt's betrayal of family principles. According to family associates, a particularly devastating incident occurred during a 2018 family gathering in Washington state, when Matt, allegedly intoxicated, damaged equipment Noah had been developing for months. A solar-powered communication system designed to help the family stay connected across their expansive property. The standard violated cut to the core of what Billy Brown had instilled in his children: self-control and reliability. In the bush, where mistakes could be fatal, every family member needed to be dependable. Matt's struggles with addiction weren't just personal demons. In Noah's view, they represented a dangerous liability to the family's survival philosophy. While Noah reportedly expressed sympathy for his brother's illness, sources claim he couldn't reconcile Matt's choices with the responsibility each Brown carried to uphold the family's reputation and safety. Now, let's rewind to understand the deeper context. The brothers' relationship had already been strained in 2014 when Noah allegedly discovered Matt had been misrepresenting certain bush experiences to production, embellishing stories for dramatic effect. For Noah, whose commitment to authenticity ran deep, this earlier betrayal made Matt's later struggles even harder to accept. It wasn't just about addiction. It was about a pattern of choices that undermined the family's credibility. The consequences became permanent when Matt left the show entirely in 2019. Reports suggest Noah was among the family members who supported the difficult decision that Matt should focus on his recovery away from cameras. In subsequent seasons, Noah rarely mentioned his oldest brother on camera, a silence that spoke volumes. While other siblings occasionally referenced hoping for Matt's return, Noah maintained a distance that insiders claim continues to this day. Is this estrangement a necessary boundary or a missed opportunity for reconciliation? Could the brothers who once taught each other survival skills find a way to navigate this most personal wilderness? Number 3. Rain Alicia's parents. In a family where the term wolf pack isn't just a catchy nickname, but a fundamental philosophy of belonging, outsiders have always faced intense scrutiny. When Noah began dating Rain Alicia, Born Ruth Alicia Merrill in 2016, she represented something new for the Browns, a connection to the outside world they had largely rejected. Initially, Noah's enthusiasm for his relationship overpowered any concerns about bringing someone new into the fold. Fans watched as the usually reserved brown son blossomed in Rain's presence, and their 2018 wedding became a celebrated milestone for the family. But according to sources close to Noah, the relationship with Rain's parents was troubled from the start. In late 2017, during what was supposed to be a cordial first meeting in Idaho, Noah reportedly experienced what he later described to friends as complete rejection. Rain's parents, allegedly uncomfortable with the Brown family's unconventional lifestyle and television fame, expressed serious reservations about the relationship. A particularly hurtful incident reportedly occurred at a pre-wedding dinner when Rain's father questioned the authenticity of the family's bush lifestyle, suggesting the entire show was fabricated for profit. For Noah, whose identity was inextricably linked to his family's way of life, this accusation struck at his core sense of self. The violation centered on respect, a value the Browns demanded from each other and expected from those who wished to join their circle. In the Brown family hierarchy, questioning the family's integrity wasn't just rude, it was an attack on the collective identity Billy had built over decades. Noah, despite being one of the more independent-minded Brown children, remained fiercely loyal to the family's founding principles. Having his in-laws dismiss those principles as fiction represented a personal affront he struggled to overcome. But here's where it gets complicated. Despite the tension, Noah reportedly attempted reconciliation multiple times for Rain's sake. In early 2019, following the birth of their son Elijah, Noah arranged a meeting in Washington state, hoping the arrival of a grandchild might bridge the divide. According to those present, the reunion began cordially, but deteriorated when discussion turned to how Elijah would be raised. The fundamental philosophical differences between the Browns' self-reliance ethos and what Noah perceived as his in-laws' conventional expectations proved impossible to reconcile. The fallout has reportedly led to limited contact between Noah's family and Rain's parents, with interactions carefully managed and minimized. This estrangement became particularly evident during the filming of Alaskan Bush People episodes featuring Noah and Rain's family life, where her parents were conspicuously absent from milestones that would typically include extended family. For Noah, who once spoke passionately about building a legacy for his children that honored both sides of their heritage, this divide represents a painful compromise. How does a man dedicated to family unity reconcile the rejection of his chosen family by his wife's family of origin? Is protecting his wolf pack worth the cost of Rain's complete integration with her parents? If you've been following the Brown family's journey for years, you know relationships outside the immediate family have always been complicated. But stick around for our number 2 and number 1 reveals, where we'll uncover the deepest betrayals that Noah has reportedly never discussed publicly until now. And if you're enjoying this deep dive into one of reality TV's most fascinating families, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to catch our weekly exposés on television's most compelling personalities. Number 2. Rain Brown. As the youngest Brown sibling, Rain, born Merry Christmas Catherine Raindrop Brown, occupied a special place in the family dynamic. 7 years younger than Noah, Rain grew up in the unique intersection of bush life and television fame, with cameras documenting her formative teenage years. Early in the show, Noah reportedly took on a protective role with his youngest sister, often seen teaching her technical skills and supporting her artistic interests. This big brother-little sister dynamic appeared genuine and warm, with fans noting their similar introspective temperaments despite their age difference. The relationship allegedly began to strain around 2018 when Rain's social media presence exploded. At just 15 years old, she amassed hundreds of thousands of followers across platforms, becoming perhaps the most recognizable Brown sibling to younger audiences. According to family associates, Noah expressed private concerns about the impact of sudden fame on his teenage sister, particularly after a 2018 incident where Rain reportedly signed a separate endorsement deal without family consultation. During a family meeting at their Washington property, Noah allegedly voiced strong objections, arguing that individual branding efforts undermine the family's collective identity and the show's premise of living outside mainstream culture. "We're supposed to be rejecting materialism, not embracing it," he reportedly stated during the heated discussion. The standard violated centered on the Brown family's foundational principle of unity. The idea that family decisions were made collectively and individual actions reflected on everyone. In the Bush lifestyle Billy had crafted, individualism was always secondary to group survival. Rain's growing independence and separate public persona represented, in Noah's view, a fundamental shift away from what made the family special. While he understood his sister's desire for self-expression, sources claim he viewed her embrace of social media fame as inconsistent with the values they purportedly lived by on camera. Now let's rewind to understand the context behind this friction. Rain's adolescence coincided with significant family upheaval: Ami's cancer diagnosis, the move from Alaska to Washington, and Billy's declining health. During these challenges, Rain found comfort and identity in connecting with fans online. What Noah allegedly viewed as attention-seeking, others might interpret as a teenager finding her way through extraordinarily difficult circumstances in the only modern outlet available to her. The siblings' age gap, Noah was approaching 30 while Rain was still a teenager, created fundamentally different perspectives on fame, social media, and authenticity. The consequences of this philosophical divide reportedly led to a growing distance between the siblings. By 2020, observers noted that Noah and Rain rarely appeared in scenes together, with filming schedules seemingly arranged to minimize their interaction. After Billy's death in 2021, the rift allegedly deepened when disagreements arose about how to honor their father's legacy. While Rain continued to share family memories publicly with millions of followers, Noah reportedly preferred a more private approach to grief. The siblings who once shared a special bond now appeared to occupy entirely different worlds, one embracing the spotlight, the other increasingly skeptical of it. Did Rain's coming of age necessarily mean growing apart from her brother's vision of the Brown legacy? Or could these two introspective siblings eventually find common ground in honoring their family's unique story? Number 1. Billy Brown. At the heart of the Alaskan Bush People narrative stood Billy Brown, visionary, storyteller, and unquestioned leader of the wolf pack. His dream of raising a family in the wilderness, free from modern society's constraints, created not just a lifestyle, but a multi-million-dollar television franchise. For Noah, the relationship with his father was foundational to his identity. As the intellectual of the family, Noah often appeared to be Billy's conceptual partner, translating the patriarch's grand visions into practical realities. Viewers witnessed their special bond through shared projects and philosophical conversations that set them apart from the more action-oriented family members. But according to multiple sources close to the family, Noah's relationship with his father contained complicated undercurrents that grew more troubling over time. The breaking point allegedly came in 2019 during filming in Washington state, when Noah discovered financial discrepancies in how the family's earnings were being managed. During a private conversation at Billy's cabin, Noah reportedly confronted his father about significant portions of the family's show earnings being channeled into investments and properties that weren't being equitably shared with the adult children who made the show possible. For a son who had dedicated his life to his father's vision, this discovery represented a profound betrayal of trust. "We weren't living the simple life he preached," Noah reportedly confided to a close friend. "We were building his empire while thinking we were building a family." Legacy. The standard violated cut to the very core of Billy's espoused values: honesty and family unity. If the Brown family ethos was built on rejecting materialism and embracing simple living, the alleged financial arrangements suggested a very different reality. For Noah, whose personal credibility was tied to the authenticity of the family's lifestyle, learning that economic motivations potentially drove decisions presented as philosophical choices was devastating. The integrity of their entire narrative was called into question, and that's when everything changed. By early 2020, reports indicate Noah and his wife Rain began establishing a separate residence away from the main family property, maintaining connection to the show but creating distance from daily family operations. The move, initially explained publicly as a desire for privacy with their young son, allegedly stemmed from this deeper disillusionment. During this period, Noah's on-camera interactions with Billy noticeably shifted, still respectful, but lacking the easy philosophical rapport that had characterized their earlier relationship. The ultimate consequence came with Billy's unexpected death in February 2021, which left these issues permanently unresolved. According to those close to Noah, this unfinished business has complicated his grief process, leaving him with questions that can never be answered and revelations that can never be addressed. In the aftermath, Noah has reportedly taken a more active role in questioning the business and financial arrangements left behind, sometimes placing him at odds with other family members who prefer to honor Billy's memory without scrutiny. The son who once helped build his father's dream now finds himself reassessing what that dream truly represented. How does one reconcile loving a father while questioning his choices? Can Noah find peace with a legacy built partly on contradictions between public philosophy and private practice? Let that sink in. The 5 individuals Noah Brown has reportedly named reflect a journey from idealism to disillusionment that mirrors the broader arc of the Alaskan Bush People phenomenon itself. What began as a celebration of an alternative lifestyle, one that rejected modern complexity in favor of fundamental values, evolved into something far more complicated. The production team that initially championed the family's uniqueness eventually shaped it into entertainment that sometimes sacrificed authenticity for narrative. Matt's personal struggles revealed the difficulty of maintaining perfect family unity in the face of very human challenges. The conflict with Rain's parents highlighted the inevitable tension when an isolated family system connects with the outside world. Rain's embrace of individual fame underscored the generational divide in how the family's values would evolve. And most profoundly, Billy's complex legacy forced a reckoning with the gap between the family's public image and private realities. For Noah Brown, whose identity was perhaps most deeply intertwined with the philosophical underpinnings of the Bush People lifestyle, these revelations represent more than personal grievances. They reflect an existential questioning of purpose. If the wilderness lifestyle was meant to build character through honesty, self-sufficiency, and family unity, what happens when those principles are compromised? The Brown family captured America's imagination precisely because they appeared to live by a code many found admirable, even if impractical for their own lives. Noah's disillusionment suggests the difficulty of maintaining such ideals under the spotlight of fame and the scrutiny of commerce. Yet within this complicated legacy lies an opportunity for redefinition. As Noah navigates fatherhood and builds his own family unit with Rain, he has the chance to distill what was genuine and valuable from the Brown family philosophy, while discarding what proved unsustainable or inauthentic. The true test of Billy Brown's legacy may not be whether his original vision remains intact, but whether it provided a foundation from which his children could build lives of authenticity and purpose, even if those lives look different than what he imagined. Perhaps the ultimate measure of the Alaskan Bush People experiment is not its purity, but its adaptability. The capacity of each family member to carry forward what was true while acknowledging what was not. Thank you for joining us for this deep dive into one of reality television's most fascinating family dynamics. The Brown family story continues to evolve, reminding us that even the most carefully crafted narratives contain human complexities that can't be edited away. Which of Noah's reported grievances surprised you most? Let us know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this exploration of the real stories behind reality TV, please hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for weekly insights into television's most compelling personalities. Don't forget to turn on notifications so you never miss our latest revelations about the shows and stars you love. Until next time, Remember that even in the wilderness of human relationships, truth is always the best compass.